Now you say, huh? Now we're live. Now, as in this
Now we're
moment,
we're back at it
we're back
on a
at it.
Tuesday.
Yep, it's a Tuesday. Um, Gave you a chance to watch your game and react. Um, Sorry to say that for you. Unfortunately, that was not a game. Maybe we should have just done it yesterday. Would have had you in a better mood, I think.
Yeah, it would gave, the keys to victory that
Right.
they, did
The
not display.
No, no, not at all. But the Niners certainly showed up for me at least. Brock Purdy showed up. That was nice for me to see. That was they went down to Arizona. They get a huge W, 41-22. Um Tyler got to see Sunday Night Football and the Eagles won ugly. That was a defensive struggle, which has been basically every Eagles game this year. Unfortunately for the Niners, we had another injury, and this time it was the kicker, Eddie Pinheiro. With the hammy. So they're looking at kickers again. This time, not our fault. Um, this time it was the team's curse.
Yeah.
Not because we drafted a guy, because the guy that we brought in, just kind of got that little hammy tweak. Ow, my hammy. I've done the hamstring injury a couple of times playing softball. It's not fun. It takes a couple of weeks to bounce back, especially when you're in your 30s. So good God, that's a little disappointing. So hopefully whoever they bring in can put them through the uprights. We know it won't be Jake Moody because he's on his way to Washington to be that replacement kicker over there. Um,
Was
anyway,
he in Chicago?
he was in Chicago on their practice squad,
I
and
thought he
because you're
hit I thought
well,
he was with the Bears
yeah, he was
and
with
hit a
the Bears.
game winner.
He was with the Bears on their practice squad. They called him up for a couple of games because their kicker was injured for a couple of weeks. So they called him up for a couple of games, but he wasn't like on the permanent team. He was still just on the practice squad.
Right.
But because you're on the practice squad, and basically any other team can say, "Hey, come on over. We need help," and you're basically free to get poached by anybody else.
Right.
So yeah, so that's kind of what happened there. Yeah, yeah. It was nice to see Brock Purdy back though, and I tell you what, man, just kind of looking at when I look back at the games that the Niners played, that Jaguars game, Brock Purdy was still coming back from that toe injury, and that was a loss.
Right.
If he wasn't injured, I think that loss is probably a win, because you ended up only losing by 5. So if he was just not injured at all, I think that turns out a little bit differently. The Buccaneers game, you lose 30-19. I don't know if you win that one or not. We can still call that a loss anyway. The Texans game where they didn't even show up, I think that game goes a lot differently. Um, and then then you got blown out by the Rams 42-26. Defensive injuries and stuff that may still be a loss, but I mean, I think you're looking at an 8-2 team instead of a 9-2 team instead of a 7-4 team right now. Like I think having Brock Purdy this entire season, that's still plus 2 wins. I
Yeah.
think at this point, and having Brock back yesterday, I feel that in my bones. I feel that in my hamstring. I feel that in my turf toe. That that he would have been the difference in those games, at least for the Texans, and having him completely healthy for the Jaguars instead of trying to come back a little too soon for that one. Also,
Vince, I found it pretty interesting listening to a lot of sports talk radio and hearing people call in and reading articles. And I swear to God, almost every 49er fan on Friday
uh-huh,
was calling in,
yeah.
tweeting, Reddit, all that stuff. There's no need to start Brock Purdy. There's
I,
no need. Ah!
yeah,
And then Monday,
idiots. Yeah.
then on Monday,
Hmm.
the same people. I'm so happy. Oh man. Oh,
Oh,
it's so good to have Brock back,
mhm.
and, I get it.
Yeah,
It's fandom, it's that, it's that fanatic, but at
yeah,
the same time, like, Brock Purdy has ran the Kyle Shanahan offense over these past couple years to perfection.
yeah.
Clearly,
Better than anybody else has, without question.
as the non-49er fan, it's like clearly he separated himself as the starter. He's the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, unquestioned. And I knew that this would happen if they were giving him the time to be fully, unquestionably healed because Mac Jones came in and played competently and he played well. He played admirably for the most part. Aside from that Texans game and the Rams game, he played pretty well overall. Even in the Rams game, to be honest, he still played pretty damn well, even though they you know,
Mac Jones
you
as
know,
the backup,
yeah,
A
top 2. Yeah.
plus,
Yeah,
A
he
plus.
did his job phenomenally, and I tip my cap to him for coming in and doing the job. Um, any other backup quarterback, I think the Niners are, you know, they're not sitting at 7-4 right now. I'll tell you what, probably sitting at 6 or 7 losses, maybe, you look back, that Cardinals game is probably a lot. The first Cardinals game is probably a loss where you squeaked out a 16-15 win. That Saints game was a lot closer than it had any right to be. The first Rams game in LA, the 26-23 overtime squeaker. Uh, the Falcons game, you only won that one by 10. There's multiple instances where Mac Jones got the job done as the backup quarterback. So I salute him for coming in, doing the job well, playing like a capable, competent quarterback with and just throwing it out there. And I think he probably is gonna get traded to somebody who's gonna need a starting quarterback. And so they're going to flip him for, valuable draft assets, I would imagine, in the offseason. So
I mean,
good on,
even if
yeah,
you could get, say, a second round pick,
yeah. I mean,
right? Like,
yeah, that's
that's
probably what they'll
huge.
end up getting. Something like that.
And in Mac Jones's defense, like his rookie season, he looked like a player on the rise that like, wow, this guy can win some games, and
He
you put
ended
a
up,
nice running
yeah.
game.
The Patriots
Um,
went 10-6, and he went to the Pro Bowl that year.
he went to the Pro Bowl. But then you make the defensive coordinator the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
It's like you ruined him.
Yeah.
So
Matt
in his
Patricia. Yeah.
defense,
Yeah.
right? In his defense on that, so I think like, the 49ers for him is the perfect rebound spot to go into an offense, work with Kyle Shanahan, and he had an opportunity to play. He probably has resurrected his career because of this play.
Yeah. He's shown that when you have capable people, coaches and stuff, he can perform capably. So if you think yourself capable and every single NFL coach thinks that they're capable, they think, yeah, I can do that. And
Yeah.
so we'll see who ends up offering the best deal for him in the offseason. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. And when I see Brock Purdy coming back, like then the way he performed, I think about the way they're easing in Yak Harlow as we call him, Ricky Pearsall. That's he's gonna get a little bit more run next week against the Panthers. So that's gonna be good. The Niners are playing Monday Night Football next week, so that's a lot of eyes on that one. Then you're at the Browns, and then you're home versus the Titans. You win all three of those games, that gets you to 10-4. You're sitting at 10-4. Your odds of making the playoffs at that point, you basically just need one more win. I think at that point, 11 wins basically locks you in. I've been like playing on the Athletic has a playoff simulator. If the Niners win the next 3 games against the Panthers, the Browns, and the Titans, which is very doable. The Panthers are a pretty solid team. That's going to be the toughest one against of the next 3. But if they beat the Panthers, then they beat the Browns, who are now. We saw why they weren't playing Shador Sanders. We saw why they weren't doing that because he was, as the kids say, cheeks in his debut. And then the Titans have just been a mess ever since they fired Vrabel a year and a half ago for no
Right.
damn reason. So you win the next 3 games, especially with Brock being back. All of a sudden, you just have to then you have the toughest part of your entire season is at the Colts versus the Bears and then versus the Seahawks. Okay, then you're sitting 10-4 going into that stretch. Okay, those last 2 games are at home. You need one out of those 3, and then you're essentially locked into the playoffs at that point. 11 wins. I don't see how you don't make the playoffs with when you have 11 wins, especially if you beat the Bears. The Bears is one of that's one of the teams that you're fighting to get into the playoffs with, because the Bears have been surprised, like shockingly good. I think that we didn't think they would. I thought we would be another year away from the Bears, but they're here. They're
I thought they
ready.
would be more like a 500 club, but
Yeah, they're doing a
and
lot better.
they had some game-winning kicks and, they
Yeah,
blocked the field goal against the
yeah,
Raiders, so
they've been on the right side of a couple of fortunate breaks, and they've taken advantage of it for sure. So they're right in the hunt. And that game's on Sunday Night Football as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. But we're looking a little bit too far ahead. First up, you got to beat the Panthers. You beat the Panthers, then you can worry about the Browns and the Titans. And then after that, if you're 10-4, then you got to get one of the next 3, and then you're locked into the playoffs. And then after that, I mean, we always talk about the playoffs being a crapshoot. I still like my heart is saying Super Bowl or bust. It's fucking happening, right? But then obviously, my brain says, hey, I mean, with all the injuries and stuff, you're lucky to be a wild card team, and then a one and done season. But of course, Super Bowl or bust, baby, right? Until otherwise,
well, I
you know
would say, for the 49ers, it seems like offensively, they're getting their offense back,
exactly.
and, if they get everybody back offensively and you have Christian McCaffrey playing like he is right now, where he's like offensive player of the year, MVP,
Borderline MVP candidate, yeah.
You know what I mean? Where he's able to run and be wide receiver number 1 sometimes and wide receiver number 2 on other days and a
Yeah.
running back. Um, a high-powered offense in today's NFL can steamroll anybody in the playoffs. So, I get the defensive woes that the 49ers have had,
Yeah.
but it's been weird, right? Like, I know, with the
Mhm.
Giants, those are like 3 of the worst World Series wins. Those
Yeah.
titles, like, those teams,
Yeah,
when
the
you
SF
stack
Giants.
those
Yeah, yeah.
teams, when you stack the SF Giants, baseball, World Series, those aren't, like, great teams. They won, like, they deserve it. They won the championships,
Yeah, they got the
but
job done. Yeah.
those were not great teams. Those were
Yeah, yeah.
miracle wins, and that's fun, that's great, but we kinda see that in the NFL, that all the time where we see the Cinderella team kinda get hot at the right time. Remember,
Mhm.
Baltimore with Joe
R
Flacco, like, he
Yeah.
went he went berserk in the playoffs, and,
Mhm.
he got the new contract,
Yep.
right after that, never quite followed up after that. He put he's a good passer, he was a good quarterback, he's still playing, but he didn't put up the numbers like,
Right.
like that playoff season. So, I mean, the 49ers have opportunity for their offense to get red hot and do something crazy because they have all the makings to do so.
Mhm. Yeah, just turn it into an absolute shootout, and I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. That's how they're gonna have to win games at this point. Like, the recipe is, just score a bunch of touchdowns, and we saw the blueprint a little bit this week in Arizona, and just we got the play caller. He's a creative play caller. Sometimes he gets a little bit too creative for his own good and just overthinks things, but as long as he can keep it within the lines and just keep getting touchdowns, and he's got his best his best quarterback back, and he's getting some of his best offensive pieces back in Ricky Pearsall, and maybe Brandon Ayuk even comes back at some point this year too. Who knows? You know.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think that's enough happy talk. Let's talk sad talk. I believe you have some Raiders stuff you want to get off of your chest, my friend.
Ooh. Um, yeah, Monday Night Football, Raiders versus Cowboys. What an absolute disaster. You're embarrassed again. Another blowout. I can't say one positive thing about this football game. Like, you cannot hang your hat on anything that looked good. The one play that was maybe cool was Max Crosby getting a strip sack in the red zone, and the Raiders offense, like, all they needed to do was score a touchdown. All they could squander is, all they could muster is a field goal. Um, they had the short field 2 drives in a row, and they got 6 points. So, I mean, the game was further than what the score indicated. Dallas clearly let off the gas in the 4th quarter and, kneeled the ball down and just kinda let the Raiders, die a quick death, but that game was over. It was absolutely over. So I really have nothing nice to say. Just to recap a couple of things, and then I'm gonna get into, I guess, some organizational things. So the game plan was absolutely mind baffling. Like, it was, what are we doing? Like, from jump, from go, from the first snap that the Raiders had offensively was straight confusing. In the first half, Vince, 32 plays, 32 pass plays, excuse me, 3 called runs, 1 scramble by Geno Smith in the first half. You passed the ball 32 times. Um, 42 overall, 42 called passing plays, and overall 12 run plays that were called, not including, some of the scrambling that Geno had to do. We saw on those 42 passing attempts, it was a shit ton of play action. What defense is going to bite on the play action pass when you're not running the ball? Who's going to bite on that? No one. So that was tomfoolery. This is absolutely incompetent football by the highest paid offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly. It's absolutely incompetent by the most experienced head coach in the NFL. It's absolute failure. We knew the Raiders defense was going to be challenged because of these wide receivers, and we can not believe in Dak Prescott as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But in the regular season and on Monday Night Football, he puts up big numbers and he did his job. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, they do this to everybody. It's not just a Raider problem. This is potentially the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. They put up numbers. They do this. They make defensive backs look silly. And they made the Raiders defensive backs look silly. The Raiders didn't help themselves by not having any type of pressure on Dak Prescott. They had 1 sack on the game. I don't even know if they had any other pressures or hurries. But he basically stood back there, stood tall, and picked this defense apart. And then you have your linebackers, your defensive backs, they can't make a tackle. I don't know how many times I've seen tight ends, wide receivers just running over this Raider defense and pushing guys around like rag dolls. It was embarrassing. It was literally 0 effort. They quit. They absolutely quit in this game before it even got started. Um, a little bit before the game, head scratchers when they're announcing the roster, Vince, the depth chart. So before the game, it was announced that Jordan Meredith, the starting center for the entire season, who beat out Jackson Powers Johnson for the starting center job, was then moved to guard, and the starting center was Will Putnam, a backup lineman. So Meredith is good enough to beat out second round pick JPJ, but is not good enough to beat out backup offensive linemen for this game who has not started at center this season. And then to make things worse, you call up for additional O line depth, you call up practice squad player Antonio Mafi, and then you healthy scratch your third round draft pick, Caleb Rogers. So you don't even give the rookie any burn. It's week 11. He had a bye week, and he's not ready to just be active. He can't get any reps. So is that Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly and the coaching staff saying this dude is not ready? He sucks? Or is this a miss on the front office or both? At some point you got to see these young guys get some play. You got to see what you have because what this season's over. What are you drafting next? Who are you bringing into the building next season? Otherwise, it's just a completely wasted draft class. So you that was mind scratch. That was a head scratcher. And look, I'm not a coach. I admit that. I have never coached any level of football. I'm not coming up here and saying I'm an expert on offensive line play, but don't treat me like I'm an idiot. Don't treat Raider fans like we're a bunch of idiots. We are fans of football. Of course, we are fans of this team. We watch a lot of football. We watch a lot of other teams. We see what good players look like. Last season, this Raiders offense improved with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell when he took over. When you moved Jackson Powers Johnson to the center position and Meredith was at guard and Colton Miller came back off the injury list. The offensive line improved. So you can't convince me that JPJ didn't make a difference at center or can't make a difference at center. So there's that. Moving off of the game and moving into the organization as a whole, I have a theory about some things and about how we got to Pete Carroll, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I want to set this up by saying I think there's a massive disconnect between John Spytek, the front office, and the coaching staff, Pete Carroll. And then there's an additional disconnect between Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly. Because every week before the game, after the game, we hear Pete Carroll saying what? We got to run the ball. We got to do it now. We got to run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And we don't run the ball. So now you're trying to run the ball or you try to do play action pass on 12 attempts. So you're not really helping anybody. So you're clearly not on the same page. Um so
I got a
my
question
theory
in the chat before like on
yeah,
this subject.
yeah,
Do you think Pete's time is maybe past?
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
I'm getting to that. Great question. I'm building up my case.
Right. Here we go.
So my theory how the Raiders ended up with Pete Carroll. So we got to put our consume some of our member berries. So Tom Brady buys into the team, right? So he's part owner now. I believe as soon as Tom Brady was in and that was going to be confirmed, we knew Antonio Pierce was gone. Tom Telesco was gone because he's going to bring in his own team. And I think the Raiders knew early on that John Spytek was going to be the guy. I think that was 100% certainty that Tom Brady, they go way back to being teammates at Michigan, that John Spytek was going to be the guy. We know that Ben Johnson accepted an interview with the Raiders because of his respect for Tom Brady. Obviously, the Raiders did not get Ben Johnson. I believe behind the scenes that they were trying to convince Ben Johnson to work with John Spytek, and obviously the Raiders didn't have a quarterback, a young quarterback like Caleb.
Mhm.
And I think Ben Johnson, it was being reported that he wants to bring in his own GM, and that's basically what he got in Chicago. They gave him the keys to the kingdom. Um, so I believe they try to sell Ben Johnson on working with John Spytek, but it didn't work out. And The other coaching candidates, we know they interviewed Aaron Glenn, Vance Joseph, Todd Munkin, Steve Spagnuolo. But at that time, it was being reported that they thought they were going to be able to work out a deal with Ben Johnson. I went back tonight and actually found articles by multiple Raider sources that they thought they were they were in a position to maybe steal Ben Johnson from Chicago. It didn't work out, obviously. So the hiring process is now close to midnight. The top coaching candidates are gone. They're off the table, and it seems like the Raiders were not sold on the list that I just read. So now behind door number 5 is Pete Carroll. And I think Pete Carroll was, how do you say it respectfully? I don't want to say desperate, but he was eager to get back into coaching. And I think he was probably one of the few coaches that would work with John Spytek. Not that John Spytek is not a good GM or anything like that, but you see that the modern NFL, you see these young coaches get jobs. They want to come in with their own GM, similar to what the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan came in. He
Mhm.
brought, who did he bring? That's his GM. That's the
They
power
came in
structure.
together with John Lynch, yeah.
That's the power structure is Kyle Shanahan is, you know, he's the John Lynch is the GM, but who has 51% of control of that relationship? It's going to be Kyle Shanahan. And I think that's what Pete Carroll was willing to do 50-50. Um, and I think that, when John Spytek and the Raiders' point of view is let's get a veteran head coach in here to hit the reset button, to get good culture, to build a program, all the qualities that we know of Pete Carroll. I think that's what they were thinking is, hey, maybe we could be a sneak. We have a good draft class. We bring in some solid role players, and we could just be a sneaky, competitive team and wheel off 6, 7, 8, 9 wins, and or maybe better. We get Geno Smith, play competent, complementary football, and maybe we could just be sneaky good. It didn't work out. It did not work out. That's my theory, why they were so late into getting a head coach. Now, do I think the question is, has the game passed Pete Carroll by? I don't know if it's the game has passed him by, but I definitely think there is stubbornness where the season's over. The season's over. It's been over. It was over in October, early October. and um, the refusal to play young guys, the refusal to you took Jack Besh in the second round. How many? He's got like 8 catches on the season.
Yeah, he's out there running snaps on damn near every play, but you're not throwing him the ball.
He's not getting the target. Offensively inconsistent. I know Brock Bowers missed games, but totally inconsistent in targeting Brock Bowers. I was watching it through the Manning cast, and I really like listening to those guys because they're 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, and they know what they're talking about. And what they were talking about with like players like Brock Bowers is, why are you running hitch routes or out routes with Brock Bowers where you want this guy to catch the ball in motion, in stride, and make a play, because that's his ability. Is once he gets the ball in his hands, he makes people miss. So get the ball in his hands. Instead, you're going 4th down to Brock Bowers on a hitch. That's both the Manning brothers are like, that's not how you use them. So we're not even using Bowers correctly when he's healthy. And then you're not using Ashton Genty correctly and he's healthy. Like, this guy's in the prime of his life as an athlete. And when he's had the ability to choose which lane, which gap to run, you see him breaking off chunk plays. But you're not giving him the ability to move. And I get that the offensive line as a whole is terrible. So you're playing one-handed. But when you have given him the opportunity, like in a zone run system, he has shown that he can pick the correct lane and make a play. And then you're not helping them when you pass the ball 30 something times. You're not helping the offensive line when they have to pass protect for that long. And then you're not helping your tackles or your quarterback when you have them in shotgun almost every single play because these tackles are clearly getting overmatched with speed. If I know that, if I see that, how come they don't know that? And I'm on the couch. So I guess my closing point is it's it's traumatizing, man. It's like flashbacks of Art Shell and the bed and breakfast offense. And I don't really know where they go from here. I really don't because the problem with the Raiders has been turnover. Is this coach not it? Fired. You bring back John Gruden and the emails come out, he resigns. And then you bring in McDaniels and he's fired. And then the GM is fired. And then it's been 20 years of one and dones or 2 years and done. So if Pete Carroll's not the guy, you're hitting the reset button all over again. And, obviously there's no salary cap on coaches, but now you got to go to Max Crosby, you got to go to Genty, you got to go to Bowers, and then you got to go to this would be like Bowers' third head coach in 3 seasons. You know what I mean? Then you got to
Yeah.
convince the locker room again. It's not the fans, it's convincing your locker room again. And then that's option number one, fire Pete Carroll. Now you're starting over. And then there's a million questions of who are you going to get. Then you got option number two is you keep Pete Carroll. And obviously, maybe there's some changes. Maybe there's some changes offensively. Maybe there's some changes defensively. But you keep Pete Carroll. But what if you're off to another dog shit start? What do you do mid-season? Do you just commit to the 3-year contract with Pete Carroll just for the sake of continuity? And then you commingle that with a bad start year after year after year, the hypothetical game, but this season has shown a reluctance to play young players. So now I'm worried that this coaching staff does not have the ability to develop young players. And that's how you need to build the team is through the draft, through young players. So even you're going to have it looks like you're going to have a top 3 pick. Maybe the number 1 pick, maybe the number 2 pick. If you're the number 2 pick or the number 3, you're going to have a shot at the quarterback that you want. But with this offensive line, you're going to kill the man. You're literally going to see this guy become David Carr. You're going to ruin him with this offensive line. And then even if you say, okay, you know what? We're going to take a tackle. We're going to take the best tackle. We're going to develop them. We're going to build the offensive line. We're going to build this thing the right way that from the trenches out. Do you have the ability to develop them? Because that's what I'm worried about is Vince, I went back and I read a lot of stuff about the Raiders draft. Everybody, CBS, ESPN, Fox Sports, The Athletic, all of these sports pundits gave the Raiders an A+. Great draft. Of course there was people questioning the Genty trade because of the running back that high and you need a lot of other things. And I get that, but the talent is A+,
Yeah.
right? And they're not using any of these guys correctly. So I don't know if that's an answer to the question. I don't know. I went into this season being really hopeful and feeling really confident that things would change, but you've been blown out 4 times. The season's not over. And you got Cleveland coming in and you got a badass on that defense that he has 9 sacks in 2 games, Vince.
I know.
So he's
That's the
probably
only
going to
thing
get
that gives me any pause for the Niners
dude,
going into that game.
he could get 9 sacks in this one game.
He might
I mean,
double up
that's
his
what's
total.
terrifying.
He's coming for Strahan's record for single
Right.
seasons, you know?
So, it's just I don't know where you go. And that's the most I don't know how you say it, the most scary thing for me as a fan is I don't know where you go. Because even if you have the number 1 overall pick and you take quarterback, whatever, you believe he's the guy, are you gonna be able to develop him and protect him? Are you gonna be able to make an offense that caters to these players' skill sets, to their strengths? Because it's not you have a dynamic running back, you have a dynamic tight end, and I'm not gonna crap all over Geno because he's kinda hard to judge when he's running for his life. Like, he's running for his life. There's people the pocket I have yet to see a play where, like, really since week 1 where he's had a clean pocket, and he's made his own mistakes, he's not helping himself. It's not all on him, but that pocket is constantly dirty and messy and hard for him to stand back there and stand tall and throw the ball with confidence. So, are you gonna be able to develop anything? And that's where I'm really scared, man, is I don't I'm losing my faith that they're gonna be able to coach him up. So, I don't know where you go. I don't know. It just feels like another year of same old Raiders, and that's the most difficult thing to say is that, it's another dead year and I'm tired of winning, the draft and winning free agency and it's still dog shit season? So, my answer, I don't know. I don't know what you do with Pete Carroll. I really don't. So,
Fair enough. Um, yeah, I think it's questions that gonna get answered one way or another, but not really sure when that, like that's just stuff we're gonna have to see as time goes on, right? Let's switch gears to the hardwood, giggity, and talk about the Warriors. Had to lighten the mood up a little bit there. So the Warriors over the last week,
oh,
they
wait, we
what?
forgot something.
Oh,
We forgot
Tyler,
something.
what?
Tim, where's our video?
Oh,
Tim, cue up the video. We forgot.
we forgot about the video. Oh, yeah.
So
Excuse
just
me,
to,
little
take
joker.
a second
This is
here,
no joke.
have a
These
good
are serious
laugh
times, and people
at
are
my
seriously
misery and
concerned
Raider
about
Nation
this nation
misery.
entering into a depression.
Let me know when it's ready, Tim. I'll
All
get
right,
this.
okay, you're right, eh? But you know
here we
what?
go.
What?
I think our nation is already in a depression, eh?
Okay, you do, and why is that?
Raider Nation, eh? It's depressing, oh! They can't even win a game anymore, eh? I can't take it, right? Raiders! Come on, you know that's funny, eh? Look.
All
So silly video. Saw some fellow Raider fans posting that on Reddit, and it made me laugh. So
right.
there you go.
All right.
Time for the hardwood.
All right. Back to the hardwood. We're gonna talk Warriors. Just real quick here. The scores over the last week. They went to Oklahoma City and lost, which isn't really breaking news because everybody loses in Oklahoma City, and basically when Oklahoma City goes anywhere because they've only lost one game all year. That was a blowout loss. They lost by like 24 points, but then they play two games in San Antonio and win both of those. You win 123 to 120 on Wednesday, and then you win 109-108 on Friday, and that game was an NBA Cup game. And then you follow that up with the big win on Sunday in New Orleans, 124 to 106. So your current standings 9-6, seventh in the West heading into today's game. Right now they're playing in Orlando. They're down 7 with about 6 minutes and change left in the fourth. So hopefully they can come back and make this interesting. Yeah, this game's bit of a nail biter right now. When you see if you're on YouTube and you watch me glance up, that's because I'm checking the score. Because I'm like hoping they can pull this one out. But yeah, yeah. So as this season goes, Draymond kind of keeps finding himself in some interesting situations. To start off the week, he was calling out the team for not trying so hard with that after that embarrassing loss. And then during the Warriors Pelicans game, excuse me, he calls out he confronted a fan after getting heckled. The fan was basically kept calling him Angel Reese because he kept getting some me bounds. And he kept calling him Angel Reese, and he didn't
Yeah.
really like that. So we'll see where that goes from here.
I did see I saw the clip of Draymond's podcast going into detail about this, and I hear his point where like, okay, the first he in his summarizing his podcast, he says, okay, the first time you say it, I get it. Okay, good one. But then it just kept coming out, and then it started getting extra with profanity and things like that.
Mhm.
And the thing that was started to get under his skin, and he said this, and I agree with this, is like you don't need to say it as like she's an insult. She's a professional player, and she's really good at her job. Maybe you don't like Angel Reese, but she's a good player, and she's a pro. So like using her name as a insult is not cool, and he doesn't
Right.
want to be associated with that. And I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that's absolutely spot on. Okay, you got him the first time, and Vince, we've been to a lot of baseball games together.
Mhm.
And, I think we've been together a few times where every now and then I like to give the business, especially if I'm close enough where I know they can hear me.
Mhm.
And rule number 1, I never try to use any profanity. I never insult them on a personal level.
Right.
And there's been quite a few times where I've gotten a response out of the player. Mark Quinn, he flipped me off. Uh, left fielder of the Kansas City Royals. He flipped me off, and then we gave him a standing ovation. And he laughed and was like, he gave us a thumbs up. We got it. We got to him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so there's been other players that we got to. It's all fun, but don't make it personal if you're a fan. Just because you bought a ticket and you're lubed up on liquid courage doesn't give you the right to say whatever. So Draymond acknowledged it. Be proud of that. You got to him. Let it go. But like to use somebody else's he got it absolutely right. To use Angel Reese as an insult is not it's not kosher. It's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's spot on. To the game itself, the Pelicans game, Moses Moody went off in the first quarter. He hit 7 threes in that first quarter. That is the second most threes in a quarter in Warriors history. That's a Steph Curry number. Klay Thompson and I believe Klay Thompson has the record. Steph Curry is number 2, and now Moses Moody is tied for second as well for threes in a quarter. Klay Thompson has the record from that one quarter, the Sacramento game back in like 2011 or whenever that was. Yeah, when he was that the 38 and a quarter or whatever it was that he dropped that third quarter. Yeah, that third quarter game. So that was so that was fun to watch as that game started. And yeah, the Warriors just kind of from that moment on in the game, they just kind of they jumped out to the lead. New Orleans would kind of start to close the gap a little, and then the Warriors would extend out, and then it just kind of was like just like almost like a slinky a little bit the entire game. Like New Orleans would come a little closer, the Warriors would stretch it back out, and that's just kind of how it went the entire game. So that it was nice to see them just kind of hold the lead and just kind of go, like they just kind of basically maintain for the majority of the game. So that was good.
Right.
Some Warriors off the court news as well. Steph Curry is leaving Under Armour. So the next shoe with Under Armour is the last one coming out early next year in February, I believe. So if you're a sneakerhead, these next Under Armour Steph Curry shoes, that's going to be the last ones with Under Armour. I believe he's going independent after this. So
Yeah, interesting.
yeah, interesting, noteworthy. I'm not really a sneakerhead, so I don't know what that means or anything other than that. I just wanted to bring it up for those of you who are. So da 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 da. Yeah, so let's see. The direct quote is Steph Curry says, "I'm excited about the future," and Steph Curry, he actually wore some Kobe Bryant shoes, I believe. He wore the Nike Kobe 6 Mambasita shoes during Friday's game as well, like kind of in homage, doing that when the news broke. So that was also noteworthy. So yeah. So there's that kind of news too. We're just making all kinds of news in the NBA. There's, you know, arrests for gambling, there's sneaker news, and then there's just all over the map, baby. Just the news is everywhere for the NBA. It's just exciting times. Let's anything else in the NBA we need to talk about? Oh, the Victor Wembanyama and the Draymond Green moment was kind of cool. On Friday, like the stare down. That was just kind of fun. If you haven't seen it yet, the bucket didn't count. So Draymond won that battle. I don't know, like if you haven't seen it yet, go on to like YouTube or whatever.
Wemby's hurt again though.
Yeah.
Like that's a concern. Like, it's like a lot of injuries piling up for extremely talented, but
Yeah.
man, let me
Yeah.
ask you this. I heard
Yeah.
about this today
Okay.
that there's the rumor is maybe a trade for Anthony Davis coming to the Warriors.
Who we giving up?
I mean, it would probably have to include Jonathan Kuminga as the centerpiece.
Because of the money, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And Kuminga's he's not playing right now.
yeah. Uh,
Um,
I mean, we need a big. I don't love it. Yeah, I just I don't love it. Like I'd rather have the wing. I mean, we're 9-6. But we need the big help. It feels neutral. I mean, I don't think we win that trade. I don't necessarily know that we lose that trade either. If if by some miracle Anthony Davis is healthy, I think we win that trade. You know,
yeah, I just don't I
that's the
feel
other
like
thing. Like the dude's made of glass.
that's the thing.
I
Is
think
like I feel like
think about it.
they'd get to the playoffs and you're like, "Oh my god, he's played 60 games for us. Oh, we're so good." And then he gets hurt like game 1
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
playoffs.
that's the thing. But a lot of people had the injury concerns with Andrew Bogut. Bogut was a different situation because Andrew Bogut, it was always something different. Like it was never like the same injury twice with Bogut. He was just a
But
little bit unlucky.
the main
But he
injury
was just
was
a monster.
that weird arm injury.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but then when Bogut was able to string together a couple of healthy seasons, and then 2015 happened,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden that was the start of the dynasty, right? And that includes a healthy Bogut, and that was the emergence of Draymond and Steph Curry became the MVP. So it all just kind of all came together all at once. The alchemy came, like happened all together at once.
Yeah.
So I mean, if if you make that trade, and it would have to be Kaminga. You're right because of the money. Um, that move, like that's the kind of move you make. You know, if you think you need the help at big, and you think you can handle the loss at the wing, right? If you think Moses Moody is ready to step up, big time, I think, I mean, this game that he just had against New Orleans, that certainly helps
Yeah.
lets you feel a little bit better about it. You got Seth coming to the team soon, if not already, right? He's
Yeah.
going to be able to sign here in a few days, I think, probably.
Yeah.
Um, so it's close. The injuries are a concern. Um, if you if he's healthy, you win that trade.
Yep.
If he's not healthy, you lose that trade. If both of them are not healthy, it's a draw, you know? And you know, we, we've we, we've seen uh, we've seen Jonathan Kaminga not be healthy for long stretches as well. So, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I honestly, this is one. It's close. I honestly think it's probably it's close enough. I could see why some people would be interested in making that deal. Um, Unfortunately, you don't have Nico Harrison there to pull that trigger anymore because he got fired. Only took 9 months after that terrible, terrible trade to make that happen.
For sure.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I don't think
Do you
I
make that
just
trade?
I
Do you
don't
make
think
that
I
trade?
do. I don't think I do because of health. Because
Yeah.
you already have Jimmy Butler that
Mhm.
is not going to play a complete season. You know he's going to miss games.
Yep.
You know Draymond's going to miss games because of rest, injury, uh technical fouls.
Attitude. I was gonna say.
um
Yeah.
Curry, he's going to miss games because of rest, and there sometimes there's nagging
Yep.
injuries that you it's just
Al
better to
Horford is just gonna rest
Al
because
Horford
of
doesn't play
age.
back to
Yep.
backs.
Exactly.
So now you're adding another guy that even if healthy, you're probably not playing AD on back to backs, right? You're load managing him. And then, I mean, in his first game, he pulled his abdomen, or if I remember correctly. So
Yeah.
the injury concerns are just through the
It's
roof
yeah,
with
exactly. That
AD.
and I think that's why I lean toward no, but like
It all and
I it's close,
it's
but
all
I
how
think
it
yeah,
comes out in the rinse, right?
yeah,
So
exactly.
if he only
What
plays,
else? What are the other
you
pieces that come
you
along
you
with it?
you make the trade and you get AD and he misses a bunch of games in the regular season, but somehow you make the playoffs. What
Mhm.
however, and then throughout the playoffs, he's healthy and he plays to his maximum capability with a max ability, no injury, Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, Curry, Draymond, supporting cast in the playoffs, and those are the only 20 games you get from AD. Okay, that team could pull off a miracle,
Yeah.
but you don't have the crystal ball to say, you know, the end result, right? So
Yeah, I'd like to have him, 5 games before the season ends just to help integrate a little bit, obviously, as well. But yeah, it's tough, and the injury concerns. I tend to agree with you. They're a little bit too. I I think it's close though. I think it's a discussion worth having at the very least. I
sure,
don't think I end up doing that deal, but it's close. I think it's worth it's worth talking about, and maybe if they add some more pieces, if you can like add some picks in there, throw in some more, like if there's more picks thrown in, I don't know. There could be a way to sweeten that pot to make it worth it. I don't know. I don't know what picks they have. I don't know what picks we have. Um, yeah, like I
yeah.
don't know. There might be a way to make it worth it. I don't know what that is. I need a little bit more though. I need a little
I
bit
just don't.
more.
At the end of the day, I don't think it makes you better than OKC.
Yeah, that's the other part. Somebody else is going to have to knock out OKC for us because it wouldn't be
Right.
us at that point.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think it makes you better than OKC.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so I think just want to make a quick mention. They're playing Orlando right now. They have Miami tomorrow, and then Portland on Friday, and then that's it for this week of games. And then we're moving on to the Sharks. I believe we're both wearing Sharks hats. Yeah.
Woo!
Jeff Skinner's going to the injured reserve list, unfortunately. Um, but that's okay. They have other players. Anyway, so over this last week, the Sharks get the win in overtime at Minnesota on last Tuesday. You had goals from Will Smith and Graf had the overtime winner. Celebrini assisted on both of those goals. Askarov had 28 saves on 29 chances. That's a 966 save percentage. For those of you keeping score at home. And then on Thursday, they lose 2-0 at Calgary. We both took the easy out, and both of us lost that one. Askarov only gave up one goal. The second goal was an empty netter on that game. It was a 971 save percentage for Askarov on that one too. So he's been crushing it these last few games, man. He's really picked it up after that start.
We were
man.
texting a little bit back and forth about the games, and the goalie play is so much better this year. I know it started off a little rough, but as the season is, coming along, both goalies have played really well. Askarov is now getting a majority of the starts, and
Mhm.
he's been playing lights out. He's been playing really good.
Yeah.
It's the defense in front of him that
Did-
is not as good.
Yeah, there's been some like mental lapses, especially with Orlov. When Orlov is your best defenseman out there, that spells danger.
Right.
Which was made evidence in the game at Seattle on Saturday when they lose 4-1. Ned was in net for that game, 19 of 22, which is a little bit worse of a save percentage, 864. Not all of that was Ned's fault though. Wenberg got the lone goal for the Sharks. Celebrini and Eklund assisted on that one. But that was Tyler's pick for win of the week. Also took the L on that one. So nobody adds to their totals for this past week.
Playing the hypothetical game, can you imagine if we were just like if we did get that number one pick and Matthew Schaefer was a Shark, like the difference that he is making on the Islanders?
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
That would have
Uh,
been sweet.
if ifs and buts were wishes. Yeah. Anyway. Oh man, that would have been so cool. Anyway. Yeah, so right now the team is currently sitting in 7th in the Pacific, 13th in the West though. 8 wins, 8 losses, 3 overtime losses because you get the losers points. Um and so they're sitting at 19 points in the standings. For our win of the week challenge, I have 2 points. Both you and Tyler have 1 point each. For the upcoming games, all 4 of these games are at home. They host Utah on Tuesday, the Kings on Thursday, Ottawa on Saturday, and Boston on Sunday. So, my friend Sam, what game do you want to take for your win of the week?
Ooh. Um we got Mammoth, Kings, Senators, and Bruins.
Yeah.
Um you know what, man? We're gonna beat LA. I'm gonna say we get a win against the Kings.
Okay. All right. That's ballsy. I like it. Okay. I like that. I like a little beat LA. Um, So I'm going back and forth between Ottawa and Utah. Um I'm I feel like you know what? I'm going to take Utah tonight. That game tips off in just about a half an hour from now. So I'm gonna know real early if I got my win of the week this week. We'll have to text Tyler and get his pick for win of the week later this week, and he will not be able to get Utah because that game starts in like 30 minutes, unless he tells me like within 29 whether he picks Utah. Um,
Right.
so yeah, that just kind of looking ahead, the Sharks, they're I'm kind of excited, just it's we talked about it as the season started. We wanted to see improvement, right? We wanted to see this team just kind of not be bottom dwellers, not be fighting for that number one overall pick in the standings. We want them to have their number luckily be drawn like the Islanders did for the number one overall pick. We don't want them to be like have the best odds to get it, right? Like that was the dream, right? So fortunately that's kind of what's happening right now is they're kind of playing a little bit above where a lot of other people thought they would be, but not us. We thought that they would be a little bit better, right? We didn't have them like fighting for a playoff spot necessarily, but we had them causing problems for people. We had
I
them
think we,
hovering around 500, which is where they're at
exactly.
right now. Just kind of making some noise. Celebrini is making it really difficult to leave him off of the Olympic roster right now. That's what's crazy is the state of California is the state of hockey right now because Anaheim is leading the Pacific. The LA Kings are in second place right now, and the Sharks are at 500. That's kind of was unthinkable to start the season. The Ducks might make the playoffs. Uh, so the Kings might actually win this division. Um, which is kind of like strange to think about it's a little less likely. I think the Ducks might actually make the playoffs. That was I thought that they might be like the last team out, I mean the first team out is what I'm trying to say. Like they were, like on the bubble, like ninth place or something, ninth or 10th place, like just like barely not making it in. But
Right.
I think that they could be one of those top. They could finish in the top three. They look really good so far. They like let's see, just let's see. Uh, it's their win percentage. Like what did they do? They had like this crazy. It was a was it? It was a 7 game win streak. I was about to say six. No, they went seven in a row. Yeah, they're just it was a lot of bad hockey for a long time in Anaheim, but the
Yeah.
Anaheim Fucks are back, man. And I look forward to having all three teams in California be really good again, like it was, about a decade and a half ago. And I
No,
love the
it's a lot of fun.
it's a lot of fun when all three teams in California are really good, and I look forward to welcoming everybody back in when the water's warm. When these rivalries between Northern California and Southern California teams are back, man. Because it's getting there. It's getting there. The Sharks are climbing. The Kings have been in the playoffs the last few years. They kept getting bounced by Edmonton, but they've been fairly good the last few years. Anaheim is back apparently. The Sharks are on their way, so it's time, man. It is time. The Ducks, they brought back that the sick helmet, the duck
Yeah.
mask helmet logo. They kept the orange, unfortunately, but can't be perfect,
Yeah.
right?
Can't win them all.
But you can't win them all. But yeah, I'm really excited for
Vince,
California
real
hockey,
quick,
man. Yeah,
real quick, our California team,
yeah,
Macklin Celebrini is third in the NHL in points with 27,
yeah.
and Leo Carlson is tied at fourth with 26. So both these young guns, these younger guys, Macklin in his second year, I think Leo's in his fourth or fifth year, I believe,
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, they're only outdone by uh, Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon. so, I mean,
pretty good company.
so
Pretty good company to have, man.
and so I mean, how long Connor McDavid coming out was, a generational talent, and it took him a couple years to become who he is. And
Right.
I man, like Macklin Celebrini, like not just his offensive skills, but he's a very smart defender. So he's already becoming like a a freaking threat on both offense and defensive, in his in hockey, So it's amazing to watch him grow and to watch him become, where he's heading. Um, and he's not even old enough to buy a beer.
Yeah, at least not here in America.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
north of the border, he's good. But yeah,
So it's just
uh,
great to see,
yeah,
and Will Smith, like they're building a great duo there, and it's great to see. I can't wait to see more of Michael Misa and see what he can do.
yeah,
And
yeah. Misa's
there's
on the
so much,
injury. Yeah, he's on the
yeah,
injured list right now, but he'll be back and he'll make some more noise as soon as he's back too,
yeah.
because he's watching and learning right now too. So he's not too far away from the team. So
It's
yeah,
definitely a team like, I'm on the Reddit boards of San Jose Sharks. Like you could feel the love for this team growing. Like there's a lot of players that I mean, Celebrini is going to get all the love because he's the projected Curry, right?
yeah,
He's that uh defining for a
yeah.
franchise.
He's him. Yeah.
But there's so many players that are on this team that could be here for a really long time.
And I'm
And
telling you,
that's
I'm on TikTok, and there's the algo is feeding me a lot of Sharks
yeah.
fans really excited about the future as well, and you can start to feel it, man. There's a lot of good feels right now. The vibes are vibing. The vibes are about as high as you can possibly get while still having a defense that is the equivalent of saloon doors.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, with that said, I guess that'll do it for the show tonight. I
Yeah,
think.
man. Great job.
Yeah,
Get us
yeah.
out of here, dude. Read the
All right.
close.
Just once again, thanks for everybody who listens and watching the show. Slide into the DMs on our social media. We're at SVT Sports Pod. So thanks for listening. And we'll catch you on the flip side. FJF, and have a good night.
Have a good night.